verification.
Yeah, I'm recording right now. Yeah.
Okay. So January 10th, 2024, Nephew SIG 2. Yeah, go ahead, Bala. You were starting to say something?
Yes, I updated the agenda with the thing that we discussed last time, including that is the first thing is the link that you put, Wim, to the Slack thread, where you mentioned all the pending items, right? So that is the first link, and then we can take a look at that one. And then rest of the things are what we discussed in the SIG release meeting, like the pending work that needs to be done before now on the 18th. And then probably once we discuss that, or once we get the volunteers and stuff, probably we can, I think I may have to create a few GitHub issues for that. Once we discuss those things, I can create the issues and assign them. So that I just wanted to mention that all the things that we discussed are in the agenda so that we can discuss in the wider forum today.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I think we can just march down the list then.
Yeah.
What is that Slack discussion? I don't know what it links to.
If you click on that, Wim, that will take you to the pending items that you put. Yeah, that exactly takes you to this particular
okay,
list. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So maybe we should start with these because I'm not sure whether anyone is doing this one already.
Yeah.
So these packages, I maybe can explain. So these packages need to be updated to reflect. So for example, here, you see we have still AMF deployment, but the new CRD is NF deployment, right? So these packages that I was showing need to be updated to reflect the latest changes. Also, for example, we need to update the image. So like NF, so this is no longer AMF deploy function. This is NF deploy function. So so that is a very small change that needs to happen to reflect the release 2 stuff. So we were wondering whether there is some volunteers. So it's not a lot of work needs to happen, and it's also a good way to learn. So we were wondering whether there is some volunteers that could help us do this. It's rather urgent, but yeah, sorry.
So I'll raise one other related thing. Sagar and Victor have been working on moving these packages into the catalog.
Yeah.
And so whoever works on this would want to coordinate with them and make sure that you're updating the right one, because I believe Victor's also working on getting the EDE to pull things from the catalog repository rather than these other older repositories.
Yeah. That's the secondary thing. But I believe that Sagar and Joseph are focusing on OAI. This is Free5GC. So this is the other packages. So there is a number of, wait, so I lost my Slack channel. Yeah, so this is specifically so this is basically making R1 work again, John. Whereas, and of course, yeah, so there is basically two tasks. One is to update them to reflect the release 2. And the second thing, ideally, as part of that effort, we would like to move this to the catalog repo. And then this is done in one shot, so basically, so that these 3 ones are then moved over there, such that we have them all in the final place as we feel right now. So I'm not sure whether there is any volunteers.
Do we need to the images that in the AMF SNS UPF don't change to the so I mean the config, we're not getting into that, are we?
No, config, there's nothing changes there, right? So the only thing that is AMF deployment became NF deployment, right? There is to be put a provider in place. So one option is, if there is volunteers, one option is I could maybe do one of the 3 and then someone else does the other 2 or something like that.
Yeah. I feel like nobody's jumping in. When maybe you and I should just do this quickly, and
Okay. Yeah.
although I really appreciate what you're trying to do, but
Yeah, well, I
to
was
get
going to. I was talking to a Akash earlier from our team, and he said he wouldn't mind doing this, but he's not on the call. So if you can wait till our tomorrow, I can ask him.
So
yeah,
maybe Liam, let's do this, right? I'll do one today, right?
Yeah,
You will see the changes, right? And then you will see if the people are ready to do so, the other two, that would
yeah,
be really appreciated. If not, I will do it, but I'll do one today. Then you have a reference, and then you can the other two you
perfect.
can.
Okay.
thanks, Wim. I think the issue here is more that people are the change is easy, but the issue is how do you test the change locally, right?
Yeah,
So I think maybe people are
that's
nervous
probably the
about.
worrying point. Yeah.
Quick question, Wim. You did say that you kind of joked that this is like redoing R1 and R2, but I think you specifically meant Free5GC use case, right?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So this is
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I just wanted to clarify what you meant. Okay, so but the whole reason we didn't catch this until now is because our end-to-end tests weren't working, right? That's the
Correct.
that's the bottom line. Yeah, this is rather late to find this issue, and I really hope that when you test it, it works. It should work, right? We didn't.
Oh, see, so the test framework for the NF function does all of this already. So we have a module test and actually an integration test as part of specialization that tests this completely, but this package is not reflecting. So there is in the Nephew core, there are tests that actually run with all the changes that Akash did from VMware. So I'm pretty sure it works. We just need to reflect these packages to reflect the changes. So I'm pretty confident it will work. It's not.
Okay. Yeah.
I haven't tested. So the piece that I'm, let's say, what we have done is we have the specialization, which was done for a while, right? And then we have the unit test. We have Ronak and team who did the workload cluster. What we have not tested so far is Ronak has done his own tests, right? Locally with the workload cluster. We have done specialization. We have never put them together. That's the only thing that might have some maybe hiccups. I don't know, but let's see, right? So let's first do the packages and then let's test, and then we'll jump into if there is an issue there. We'll see how to fix it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is that part, and the other side is the other part of this thing. I think is actually that Victor and they are working on these type of things already. So that's the other part where there is a few. If you look to these PRs, right? So so there's a few things that needs updates of these packages to reflect these changes that were done. So we need to tag them, right? So this is, for example, we so this is a Multus package related thing. I don't know why this Slack always disappears. So I just went through all the PRs of the example packages, and I saw all the changes that we were doing, and so that's basically what I did at some point. So this is update port, so that's the one that's already in place because John and Victor, I think John, is that correct, right? So they are testing with the latest Porsche in the meantime, right?
I don't know. So back before the holidays, I moved Porch to Nephew and I rebuilt it and I pushed it to the Nephew Docker. So that's actually the latest. 27 is close to the latest, but it's not quite the latest. There's fixes in.
Yeah.
So
But this
it might be
so
testing 27. The problem is that so there's the packages get tagged and the images get tagged, and most of the images we're using a fixed tag. In the newer versions of the packages, I tried to refer to main rather than like we might rather than in our main branch, I'm just sort of like having all of the revisions point to main so that it's always most current, and then the image will always point to latest. But it means our release process is going to need to figure out how to fix all of those, right? So I don't know that we've done that everywhere, and I just don't think the EDE tests have been testing all the most recent stuff. They've been testing tagged things, and so it's going to need a full pass through every image and every package revision, every package reference to a revision to make sure.
Yeah, Sagar, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, Wim, that when I opened the PR for the Nefio controller and the changes which you made in the Nefio operator, I was testing with the latest Porsche there. So I took the latest image which John uploaded, and I took his changes which he merged in the catalog repo. So I made the test bed according to that.
Yeah. When I listed the PR, by the way, this issue that tag that I raised here is from last year, basically. So what I promised in one of the meetings to say, okay, let me see whether we have all the changes that we need, because I was afraid that we were not doing that, right? So that's what I did. So what all the references that you see here in this Slack channel are not up to date anymore, right? Because this is dating from, what date is this? See, December 13, right? So this is basically a month old in the meantime. So there has been changes here to this list. So as such, yeah, this is not up to date as such. But I think Sagar, if you and is Victor on the call as well? No, we don't see Victor. The question is the E2E taking those latest Porsche images?
I am not sure right now. I think Victor is just testing right now. John has the access to the VM. Probably he can check if the image which he's using is latest or not. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I might be able to in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's, yeah, so I think here at the moment on these type of things, yeah, so there are some pieces that that needs to be taken into account to fix. For example, one of the things that I listed myself was, yeah, this one, for example, here. This guy is that wait a minute. No, that's not correct. Yeah, I take that back. Yeah, that was not correct.
Wim, I think the problem is you don't have enough icons and tabs open.
Yeah, I know. It seems. But yeah, so
the EDE is using port 0027. So that's functionally should be equivalent to the latest version. There's some fixes. Oh, that's probably why he's having this other problem. There's some fixes, and one of the fixes is related to the way we use the catalog directory, repositories that are registered with subdirectories, and we need that fix. Okay, so I solved two problems with this conversation. Yes, we'll get that updated, and I'll let Victor know now.
That was good, all that.
John, quick question on this. So 27, I think, was the last kept version of Porch, right? Point 27.
No, 30, I think there's a 35 or something that we did.
Oh, okay.
We did one right before I went on vacation, and then I broke something. And so then Morton reverted one of my changes and kept the other changes, but in the process, he reverted this fix for the directory. So the one that is in the Porch, the one that's in the Nefio Docker Hub, and in the Nefio Porch repository, the source code there, that's the one we should use because it has it has my broken change reversed out. That's a PR right now in the Porch repo, and it has all the other fixes. So that's the one we should be testing with.
Right. And how are you tagging the version? What is your thought to continue 39, 40, etc., or is it just 1.00 for? Is it just using Nefio versioning? Do you think?
Right now, it's using what I what I put so far, there's 2 tags, latest and v2.0.0 beta 1 or alpha 1 or
Okay,
something like that.
okay.
So I was going to just match it to Nefio, but it's up to everybody here, whatever we want to do.
Yeah. So, but before we decide, there's another issue of the internal version in Porch, right? You know, the command line tool, the whatever version is reported internally, would that match the tags, or the tags are separate, right?
Tags. The
Yeah.
build process will get that from the Git repo where it's built. So
Okay.
we need a build process for it. Right now there is. So this is all in an issue somewhere. But basically, I moved over I can manually run all the CI, but we need automated CI for it, and we need the automatic image build like Rado did for other images, and we need a build and release process for the CLI because that doesn't have a Docker image. Although we could build a Docker image for it, it doesn't have a Docker image, and so we need a place to put that artifact, that built artifact. Right. A SIG release to figure out.
Yeah, there's a Go releaser tool that's excellent for this, but we need to integrate it. So Liam, you have your hand up?
Yeah, just on another thing on Porch. It's using the kept. It's using the Google kept function. In the function runners. It's using those images. I don't think kept dev have released images for those kept functions in the CNCF project yet. So I was just wondering what's the story there, John. Or
that's a great point.
Yeah.
All of that should be moving to the CNCF repo, but I need to sync up with that team and make sure or get a timeline on that. We should probably we ultimately will want to build our own images for those things, or even build we might even do this actually in the Porch build process. It may build for the function runner, it pulls in a bunch of those and builds like a composite image or something, an image with all those binaries. Like we should think about that because like we have a base image, like we probably want to just build some of these things ourselves, and but code can still come from the CNCF project, but we just might want to have our own process.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I changed the images from the when I was playing with Porch, I just changed the images to point at the Nefio ones, but then I saw the other images and said I better leave those alone.
Yeah, okay. All of the function images are still pulled from KepDev GCR, but probably want to move those, right, so that we have total control over them and their versioning and all of that.
Yeah.
It's a discussion we can have.
I guess we probably should use their images either when they have them in the KepDev, but I just had a look and they weren't there yet. So.
Yeah, although I don't think Google is going to unpublish the already published images, so I think they're pretty safe to use.
Yeah, no, definitely not. But like, yeah, no, and they should be. What we should do is make sure that they build up, like they should.
Yeah, I think though there was some issues with say people in China using those images because they were coming from Google. So.
Yeah, exactly. So we can. I mean, the easy thing is to just pull those images and and mirror them. Yeah. Mirror them with for now. That's not hard to do.
So if we can, let's march onward in the agenda and just make sure we cover everything. But I guess, should we decide now on the Porch version? I think we should. I'm in favor now that Porch is part of Nefio, it should use Nefio versioning. It's a Nefio component. I think using the old kept versioning will be just confusing. So this is a big change. Porch is jumping from alpha to version 2 all at once, skipping version 1. Only the very best software is able to do such incredible feats of but yeah. But I think it'll maintain consistency internally. And any objections to that, especially John? You know, it's your baby here. How do you feel about that?
No, no, I already proposed that myself, so I think that's
Okay, excellent. Okay.
That's correct,
So-
right? V2. Is that?
Yeah.
we just tag it the same tag we tag all our other components. It's just another component.
Yeah, and John, you said that the internal CLI tool and other version strings, you know, in the source code all use the same tag?
Yeah, so
Or you're pretty sure?
well, I haven't tried it. So when you build when you do a make, right, for the container images, you give it the tag you want to use. And then it will use that in the versioning, but I haven't tried that with the CLI, but it should be the same way. I would have to go look at the make files or try
Okay.
it.
Yeah, because that is never automatic. You know, Go. It should be somewhere in the Go code that it uses it, but I don't know. There are many ways to actually implement that. So I didn't look.
Yeah, I know. It gets the part of the make process or something writes it to
Okay.
constant. I don't know. I don't
Right.
remember.
Okay. Okay, so I feel like we've already talked about the next agenda item, right?
Should we?
The
so
updating
Tal,
free5gc packages.
Yeah, so so this one I think this is done.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Yeah,
it would be good. Maybe we should put it on the board at the end of the day, right? But at least we should list who what,
Yeah.
because if we want to release on Thursday, then we should at least have an owner for each of them, right?
Yes, I think once we decide here, probably I will put them on the board and with the right name there.
So run end-to-end test for free5gc. Who is doing that?
Okay. The next
So
issue about
is-
tagging. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's another thing, right? For the free5gc2, right? It should be using the right porch, all those things. Just want to make
Yes.
sure that it's also using all the artifacts that you, yeah.
Just to be clear on the free5gc, sorry I can do the update, but I'm on the road again, so I'm not be able to test the whole end-to-end thing myself, by the way. So I will do the updates of the packages, right? But so I don't know who is going to do the end-to-end testing and putting all the things together. I think we need someone to do that as well. Right.
Yeah, I'm actually rebuilding my whole test environment now. I hope to be able to do this, but soon. But I have a few other pressing issues. So I wonder, does somebody feel ready to be able to do this?
It's basically retesting, running through the test framework for free5gc with all the changes that we are doing. So basically similar to what Sagar and Joseph are doing and Victor for OAI to do it for free5gc. That's kind of what.
Well, we're actually blocked until we fix those, do a PR to fix the packages, right?
Yeah, sure. But what I'm saying is, let's say tomorrow it's done, right? So you can start basically from Friday, something like that. Yeah.
I hope I'll be ready tomorrow, but I have a feeling I won't. Does anybody have an environment that they feel they can help with this? We could really use help now. Okay, I'll do my very best to get my environment ready.
So Tal, can you recruit somebody to help you there? That's what I know you're trying that.
I'm trying.
Yeah,
I
I
just
think,
tried. It seems that
yeah,
people are not
probably,
available.
yeah, I think
Wim, I hate to throw this on you, but just to know when you're coming back from your travels.
Yeah, so the problem is I'm like on the road all the time, basically. So
Oh
that's my
yeah, as usual.
No, it's not usual. I mean, the problem is I'm not at home at all, so I'm like completely I'm swamped typically. So I don't have time
Yeah.
to run this.
No, I
So-
understood.
so probably we can probably once Victor is on board, probably we can also talk to him, Tal. Because I
Yeah, I
know
have a feeling.
he did some of this in the in the R1 type.
Exactly. He has a working environment right now. My
Yeah.
my current environment is just a mess. I'm in between a ruin.
So you should
Yeah.
be able to spin a sandbox quickly, right? There's a script in the test info which will literally just spin the whole thing up, and then you can go and just selectively.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
That's
That
what
is
Victor's doing, right? He's running the CI and it's bringing up the sandbox, and then he's seeing where it's failing and he's going in. So that's what we just found, like that the porch version is wrong, right? So he's gonna fix that. But like, so I think that's probably, rather than trying to get a dev environment set up, which can sometimes be a little bit of a long lead time, just spinning up one of those.
Yeah, I'm also restructuring how I'm doing mine. But yeah, that's absolutely possible. I guess I could just do that, run our but you know, for that easier work, does anybody else want to do that and just like follow through the instructions and just do the standard test environment? It's a good opportunity to get on board.
Don't be shy.
Yeah.
And we can
We'll
give
help.
you
Yeah.
right, we do that in the Nefio GCP project. So rather, like if you don't have a GCP project yourself, we can give you access to that. A few people, half a dozen people or so, have access to bring up VMs there and actually do stuff there. So if somebody wants to do that, we can provide that access, and Victor or others can show you how to get it up and running.
Oops, I need to step out very quickly.
Okay, yeah, I'll go to the next one. I think we don't have volunteers yet. And tagging the packages, I think that Rado is doing that,
Yeah,
right?
so Rado will do. Yeah, I think that's fine, right? That's automated at this point of time, right? Tagging.
Right.
And I think, yeah. So Sagar,
And by the way, the
Yeah.
testing for 35GC, if nobody will do it, I can take it. So
Okay,
that's
cool.
really good.
Yeah.
But you have to wait a little bit, Rado, till we ping you, right? So let's once Liam and myself are done. Plus, we need the changes that Victor is doing with the ports, right? So once,
Yeah.
so there is a full dependency before you can do anything. So don't
Yeah.
even try. This is wasting your time.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, sure. By the way, you want this on publicly available machine, so we can review something later, or doesn't matter really?
See, at the ideally, right? We have our CI. So ideally, our E2E test that we run on a regular basis. So what we should actually do is we should make our E2E test run, and so this is maybe the good exercise to do so. So now, so when we would do a commit, these tests should always run. They should succeed for both OAI
There's this periodic end-to-end run that's pointing to main that Victor set up. This should pick up these changes. I can also test it manually when you push all your stuff.
That's what I'm proposing. If we have these changes in, we should maybe do a manual manual run of that, and that should be the process to validate it. That would be and then we also are ready to then do it on a continuous basis, right? So that's, I think, I would be the right approach in my view, and we should do that for both OAI as well as for Free5GC, basically.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We should have. That should be part of our CI, as it should run with all the latest of. I mean, right, there's always this debate of like, well, if I'm testing just this change, I should keep everything fixed except for that. But you also want to test like all the latest things together, so you'll have to have that conversation, I guess.
So Rado, I know you were in the process of doing that. Do you think for the R2 time frame, would we be in a position to run this automatically end-to-end test?
Yeah. I guess I should finish this week.
Okay, at that point of time, Wim and John, I think probably we would have done the after the manual testing by 18th. If you're running the end-to-end tests automatically for both OAI and Free5GC, do you think that will satisfy the demand?
In my view, that's when we have. For me, we cannot have a release unless we have that somehow, right?
Yes.
So
yeah,
otherwise we
absolutely.
cannot read it.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a gate that we have to add to our checklist. But
yes.
Okay, but I think it's perfect, right? I mean, it's ideal.
Yes, yes. I think that's what we are shooting. Myself and Radon will see.
And I hope we'll succeed, but let's see. So there's
Yeah.
still a few. But let's.
Yeah,
hope.
I have a feeling for this final push for releasing R2, it's going to be manual. So that's why I
Oh,
wanted to
but-
create a nice environment. But yeah,
Yeah, but Tal, if what I was proposing to Rado is do a manual run of the CI, right? Because it should be the same as running the test infra. So at least if we have a
Right.
manual, it's the same.
Yeah.
well,
But-
I imagine that if Rado works on fixing the automation, then he will also run it manually at least a few times to make sure it works. So yeah.
Yeah, Tal, when you were away, Rado actually volunteered for that.
Right.
But and then I think Rado also feels confident that we should have this end to end by R2. That means
So you're
a
off the
week from
hook.
now. Yeah.
You're off the hook.
Yeah, the thing is, it will be so last minute, and of course, the reason we're running an end-to-end test to see what's broken, right? And so we can fix it. So, yeah, it's we're slipping it in just in time, right? But we'll probably have to make sure that we do this manually as well. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Flexibility.
We'll see. It's very close. In
We
any
need to
case,
help.
I'm going. You can add my name here. I'm going to try to make sure that I run it.
Yeah.
Maybe not as soon as it's merged, but let's see. Oh, it's Wednesday. We'll see. Maybe early next week I'll be ready to actually
Yeah,
run it.
but anyhow, anyone, guys, we all need Rado to help. Let's say if there is a bug, right? We need to step in and help Rado if there is a problem, right? So it's not he is
Also
not.
true.
He's just
Yeah.
driving it, but we all need to help Rado that we collectively succeed, and for sure Rado as well. So this is not anyone who can help. We appreciate that you could support us. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Then sorry.
Oh yeah, you can go ahead. But yeah, the next issue about tagging, I did want to ask, or maybe you talked about it when I was away for a second, but we did. I know that last time John created a wiki page about it, and I tried to find it, and I couldn't.
Rado and I did that. Yeah, Rado, it's on the, it's like the SIG release wiki in GitHub, I think.
Oh, and GitHub. Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't realize.
I think that's where it is.
Yeah,
Rado,
to add the confusion, it's on the other wiki. Yeah.
Okay, that's why I didn't find it. Okay, thanks. Okay, so we could move to the next item.
Oh, yeah.
This one is making sure the like I said, Sagar, I think Sagar already answered that. It's making sure it's using all the latest packages and then also using the latest purge, etc.
Is this correct? Is that this is being handled by Victor and Sagar and Josep? Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah, I think so. So Sagar, I think you just confirmed that you were using the right version
Yeah.
of.
No, yeah. So there are two things, huh? So let's just not mix together.
Okay.
First, yeah.
Sure.
First, when I said that I tested the latest Nephew controller and the latest Porsche, that was because there was a bug in the Nephew controller which Vim solved. So for that bug, I had to first only test this half part, that the Nephew controller it works, the latest Nephew controller works, and I'm able to create workload clusters because I was not able to create workload clusters. So Vim solved that bug, but with the latest Porsche and the latest controller, I didn't do end-to-end testing of the with OAI components. The testing of the OAI components was done with 1.0.1. So Victor now in his changes which he's doing, he's taking all he's making changes to take packages from the catalog repository where the packages are where the Nephew controller is latest, Porsche is latest, everything is latest.
Okay, got it. So basically, so you essentially are suggesting that you will be coordinating with Victor to make sure this particular line item is done.
Yes.
Cool, thank you. Yeah.
But it's actually Victor who is doing it basically, and I
Okay.
think is that correct to say, Sagar, is that Victor is the lead, and then we are supporting him, but he, for
Yeah.
example, picks from John that he was just saying, right? Or he needs
Exactly.
to.
I mean, the thing is, it's also me right now. I have to move all the packages to catalog repo, right? As I promised, so I'm doing it. So once I move them to catalog repository, then we check, then we try everything with the main branch, let's say. And then the day we decide that we release, so we have to make a cut, we have to cut off, and then we have to re-tag all of them from main to the tag branch. Like, we had revisions there like earlier. So right now in the PVs, I mentioned main because everything is in the main branch. In the catalog, there is nothing tagged. So in
Yeah,
that, then in that,
can we already tag with like I think John, you did that right in R1. Every time we had a change, we did like a tag V001 or V002 or so, or you did V1, V2, V3, V5.
I'd rather get everything working and then tag them all, because it's like I push tags constantly, and I think it will
think
be simple.
it's a better approach in my view to tag it even with like a V1, V2, V3, and then once we are done, we tag it with the overall V200 tag, right?
So there's two different
Um,
types here.
yeah.
There's release tags, which represent the state of being at like R2 time. And then there's revision tags that are like the revision of a package. And pushing and moving those around is a huge pain. So what I think will be more likely to allow us to iterate faster really quickly right now would be to have them all the YAML references to like within PVs and stuff should use revision main, and all the image tags should use latest. And then when we go for like a release, we would tag all those and switch all those mains to the specific package revision tag, and switch all the latest to the release tag. You actually should be able to use the release tag even in the package variants, I think, but I don't remember. Like, I think that it goes through, it will still show up as a tag. It will still show up as a package revision with any tag. It's just that the opinionated like V1, V2, V3, V4, like that's the ones Porch will add automatically, but you can still access the ones via package variants that are tagged elsewise, like with main. But I would want to double check that before we made that our choice of how we did it.
Okay,
Did all that?
then what Sagar is saying, using main and latest is okay. Yeah, it's a bit dangerous in my view, but okay. I mean, it's okay for now.
It is, and it's not the process we should follow in the long term, but we have to sort out what that process is, because it's what we did in R1 didn't really work very well. Like, if I hadn't been constantly force pushing tags, and it's easy to make a mistake and forget to force push one tag, and or make a mistake and not update every package that references something to the latest version if you don't force push a tag. So it's not great. Like, it needs a better mechanism and more automation around it.
Yeah.
So
okay, go ahead.
I'll ask, maybe, does it really need to be very automated? I think there's an advantage to having it very manual, because every release ends up being a little bit different.
I think that's a discussion for later. What I'm saying right now is if we do main and latest right now, and then maybe just before the release, we do a tag cut of all of them with a VX, and then I don't know. I mean, we can, like.
So the latest I'm actually less concerned about, because that continuously moves. After the release, latest will continue to move as we develop, right? So it's really the tagged images that the numbers that we want to use in our documentation and everything, right? So there's stability there.
Yeah, but also I think all the E2E tests. I mean, if you want to run, let's say, repeat release 2, right? You want to have something that you can reference, right? Because the problem is, if those packages use main and you update it, for example, or you even main and latest and they change and they are incompatible, you'll have a problem, right?
Right. Like, once we do a release, definitely everything has to be tagged on a specific
That
tag.
means that the package references needs to be tied, right? because
Yes,
otherwise
right.
you have a moving target.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's just, there's like the development process and there's the release process, released code versus, like part of the problem we're having issues right now is that all our EDU tests were using the tagged releases. So even when we made changes, of course they were successful because they're still testing the old code. So like, we can't have that during development. Right? That's the main.
Yeah, so we need to discuss it in SIG release, I think,
Yeah,
what our
exactly.
strategy.
It's a complicated thing that needs to be resolved.
Yes. But okay, for now we do like this, and then to get to R2. But then once we tag, we have to update all of these things, right? So, but okay, yeah, which is also not ideal. But let's see what we can do going forward. Right? Okay. Docs and release notes. Who is driving that?
So on that one was the two things, right? One is the user docs, the installation manual for the main one. So Sagar, if I remember correctly, you said that you'll be working with Victor when you're going to do this process from the user docs / install logs perspective for the OAI. Is that right?
Yes, I did said that. I think now I
Okay.
said a lot of things. I really realize I said a lot of things now. So yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay. Okay. Yes, sorry to put you on spot.
No, it's fine. If I'll do it. I mean, if there is anybody else also willing to do it, don't. It's fine. But yeah, when I'll test with Victor, we're gonna write all the steps.
Yeah, either between you, Joseph, and Victor, I think for the OAI, I think we will have to ask your help. The release notes we can take care, Sagar, but for the overall, for the OAI, between you, yeah.
Sure. I mean, if somebody can just also read it, so that'll
Yes,
be
we
also
could
good.
do that.
So
Yes,
we
yes,
just,
absolutely, yes.
if there are some typos or something which will happen.
Sure,
That's
sure,
a separate-
absolutely. Yeah, we will review. We'll go through the regular review cycle. That one.
Yeah.
Separate task, Sagar here, so we have that here.
Yeah. So that is the R1 docs. That's a slightly different. Actually, the R1 docs is to make sure that the one that we have for the R1 is it still relevant now that we made some API changes, etc., and also the versioning, etc. The free 5GC one that we did for R1, that is a separate task. So I think we need somebody to go through the R1 docs and make sure any corrections needed. I think you found out a few issues right then back when we were discussing them that they need some updates. So this is for requesting for someone to review the R1 docs that we already have and make sure any changes that is needed and update the changes.
So I think Liam and I said that we would do it together. Find a way to
Yeah, okay,
work between us.
cool.
Yeah.
Correct,
Okay.
Liam?
Let's
I know I
let's
kind of
find a
forced
way.
you.
Let's find a way to do it. Yeah. Okay.
Do you also
Um,
cover the review of the updates that Sagar and Joseph are doing them, I guess, or?
Yeah, the review that will go through the PR cycle, once the thing is done. Okay.
But okay, I mean,
So
we should
yeah, I think
have someone assigned
the
for it.
the one thing I would say, yeah, obviously for all these things, right? We have 10, we have 8 more days. 18th is the day where we go to TSC asking for the blessing. So so it means that we should be already done with all these things by then. It's what my understanding, or is it that we will be completing pretty soon?
No, it should be done, right?
It should be done, right? Yeah, I think we have a very busy 1 week.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's why I was trying, even that it's PR, I agree, Bala, it's better to have people, let's say, a name right now, because then at
Got
least
it. Okay,
see, so that was my reason. I agree,
got it.
do a PR, but then okay, if it's hanging there and nobody takes care, okay, then it's not covered.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Let's try to get some people to volunteer if we can.
Uh,
Don't be shy, guys. And
Yeah,
release notes.
yeah, I
Good.
can be one of the reviewers, but I definitely wish one of the actual domain experts also review that. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a quick note, I just noticed on the chat, Rahul volunteered to help with end-to-end test the
free
4
5G.
items about, yeah, for free 5GC. So he just needs help with the just one L. Yep.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, the other L belongs to me. You stole one of my L's.
I moved you. I merged you.
It's
I would
okay.
love to do this test. Just that I've never seen the steps anywhere, so would like to get some help there, and then I can bring to the fore if there are any issues that I
Yeah.
can observe.
So let's continue that on Slack, and
Sure.
we'll all help. And thank you so much, Rahul. Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Fikra, you have
Pleasure.
your hand up?
Yeah, you can add add me on PR reviews as well. I don't mind
Yeah.
for
Review
documentation as well.
docs. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks, Vika. Yeah.
No problem.
Many thanks. Yeah. Yeah, we I know that at the last minute it seems pressure, right? There's a lot of like the commitment seems very high right now. So I can understand why people aren't jumping to volunteer, but really don't be too nervous, right? If you volunteer for something now and get stuck, just post on Slack, and some of us regulars are there, and we'll jump in to help. So
Yeah, you're not on your own, right? We're helping. That's true for everything that's on the list here, by the way, I think. Right?
that's very true, right? I just feel like the stakes seem to be very high right now as we're rushing to release, but they're not really. Well, it's the same as always.
But I think if we sorry, just to cut in, if we make good use of Slack and annoy people to get stuff in before the 18th, that's okay.
Yeah, some friendly poking on Slack.
Friendly nudging, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. There was, before we get to the last big items here, or I don't know if we'll have time, but a quick note, I forgot to add this to the agenda about the Helm to operator code pull request from I put a link in the chat to it for the Nephew SDK. So anybody from the team was working on that here at the meeting? No. Well, okay. I'll have to reach out to them because they were very insistent on getting this in for R2. However, they're not answering the pull request comments. So at this point, it's up to them, but I'll nudge them on that. Okay, thanks. So are we ready maybe to discuss the last topic? Although I feel like we might have already.
I think
Yeah,
there's
the
one
latest
more.
post. Yeah, I think we did that one. The latest port integrations that I think it's covered.
done.
Basically, I think
The only
we
thing that
covered
we
that.
don't. Yeah, so the only thing we don't have yet is Bala is the release notes, right? Or
Yes,
that's the only-
I can take a stab at it. Vim release notes, and then
Okay.
I would definitely seek help once I do that with you and Tom. I'll take a stab at it.
All right, perfect. Thank you. I think that's it, right?
I think that's about the pending list. I mean, before we go to start thinking post R2, let's. Is there anything that is missing? John, I mean, you did a lot of stuff in R1, and can you guide us? Are we missing anything here, or do you think we should anything blatantly?
For the R2 release, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we already talked about, right, getting all the latest packages updated, getting the end-to-end tests working for both Free 5GC and OAI. What I think was helpful in R1 was the whole sandbox, like people could just click, 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 and it would just set up an environment and they could play with it. I think that would be super useful to continue, ideally, for both OAI and 3.5GC in the same sandbox. I don't know how we've set that up. And then we had, of course, EDE test exercises that were a human going through. I mean, it's a lot to do all that. I don't know that we need to do that before we say before release. Some of that can be done post release, but obviously it has to be working. And then we should think about the other, like we have the whole learning series with Nephew R1. Do we want to just update those individual episodes and just change it to learning series with Nephew and say in R1, here's what you did, in R2, here's what you do. I don't know. We just have it well, but I can be in that interim between technical release and release announcement, or even follow on later. So those are some of the other kind of main points I think that need to be addressed.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
the
So
box is that covered in this section here?
Probably. Oh, something else that came up. Arna, the folks from Arna are working on Sagar. Put together. I'm sorry, Sandeep put together or he's working on an LFN training associated with Nephew, and they're looking for reviewers. So ping me on Slack if you're interested in reviewing that. Just a couple of reviewers we would want because it gets too complicated if you have a bazillion reviewers. I don't think Brandon, their marketing guy, wanted me to announce this at the meeting, but and ask broadly. He wanted me to reach out to individuals, but I didn't do that. And he's got some urgency. So anybody who's interested, ping me on Slack. I haven't reviewed the material yet either. He sent it to me last week, but I think that would be very cool. It's going to be R1 based because otherwise it will delay it a lot. But then there'll be a new one for R2 based too, I think. So that's part.
So would those where are they going to live, John? Are they YouTube videos or are they
I don't
like
know.
okay,
Like
okay,
an official like Linux Foundation training thing. I don't honestly.
okay, okay, okay. Yeah,
But-
that's good to know. Yeah, thanks.
Great.
Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah.
We can discuss it later today sometime.
All right.
Okay, so essentially, John, you mentioned all the things that we do for the end-to-end things, all the steps. We need to ensure that it's kind of done for R2, and also the tutorials you mentioned. Can we just take a list, Wim, since you are in the docs already? Like maybe we can do it after the release.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be done before the obviously, like we already talked about, the thing that needs to be done is that EDEs need to be able to be run successfully. But
Yeah.
a kind of like documentation of that and maybe some step throughs and tutorials can be done post.
Okay.
John, it's fair to say that the sandbox my understanding is the sandbox for that we did in R1 actually.
So Wim, before you go, Tal, do you mind muting because your typing is kind of interfering?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
I did.
good, Wim. Yeah.
But what I was trying to say is that this covers the sandbox, not.
Yeah, that would probably cover that list of like we have that list of exercises. So Gergely has, I don't know if you guys have seen the new stock site. It's really nice. He's still working on it, but right now it's in a Nokia branch. But the idea is we can continue to use our docs GitHub. I asked him about this yesterday, and there'll be some additional, like special annotations that we put in to work better for the generated site, but it looks pretty cool. If you go to the docs repo, there's a PR there, I think, and he's got a link to it. So
Yeah.
what I asked him is, well, what about all this learning? Like, it seems like we should eventually bring everything to one place, you know?
That should be, I think maybe we should do that once we are done with our
Yeah.
right? So it's because otherwise it's a bit too much, I guess.
Under the pull requests. go to pull requests. And then there you go, that one. And then here, there's rendered here. Yeah, click that.
Yeah, that's this one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So this gets generated out of the GitHub, but like obviously it's better formatting and some navigation niceties, and there'll be some additional like annotations we can put within the MD files to like improve the
Yeah. That's nice.
navigation and stuff.
Yeah, hopefully by R2, this is going to be our main doc.
Yeah, this we should all move to
Yeah.
this thing going forward,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
okay. So yeah,
That
but
looks very nice.
is this fair to say the tutorial updates, and is it really a sandbox for OAI? Is that those are the two things we have to look at after the 18th, right? Is that up to date with what you said, John?
For documentation, I mean, we have to get the sandbox working for OAI, right? Like,
Yeah, correct. So yeah, so what I said is basically what I try to say is that updated tutorials to reflect the new changes from R2, right? With R2 changes, right? And then create a sandbox for AI, right? For OAI.
yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what we already do in our E2E tests, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think what is nice, I think, and I agree with you, is that people were able to exercise it manually. I do agree we have to have it for E2E, but the fact that they can exercise it manually,
Yes.
or you need to be able to exercise
Yeah, exactly.
it manually, right? And then move everything to new docs side, right? That's the other.
Yeah. Yeah, that is R3 actually. It's not even after 18th, it's R3 time frame, the last one. Yeah.
Okay, I'll add it back to this.
Yeah.
So we're at time. The final bullet point item can definitely wait. I
Yeah.
added it in thinking that we might have time to discuss the future. But I just want to respect everybody's time. But is there some final stuff we need to discuss?
I think this
We
is a
can
good meeting. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we can continue on Slack.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody who's stepping in to volunteer at the last minute. And again, we'll be gentle, and there's a lot of people here that will be happy to help. I think we'll be able to do this, right? It's a little stressful, but I think all the pieces are coming into place. And you know what? Even after we get TSC approval, we can still do fixes and changes. It's not it's not like we're closing the floodgates there. And I
We
imagine
did
that
in
we'll.
R1. We did in
Yeah.
R1. We had a 1.0.1. That's what actually.
Yeah. This is not production code at this point.
Yeah.
Although some of you might know that yesterday, Google released the general release of TNA, the Telco Network Automation product. It is now formally out, and it uses Nefio, right? It's kind of a managed version of Nefio with some limitations, right? And yeah, but yeah, I think that's very good news. It's here's Nefio going commercial, right? For the first time officially, even though unofficially it has been for a while. So yeah, amazing that community is able to make something that can be productized. So thank you, everybody, and have a great rest of the week, and we'll continue talking on Slack.
Right.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
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 Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.